The wastes of the surface of BC 517b, undisturbed other than by the shifting sands and dust and the unseen subterranean movement of whatever life forms remain, are briefly illuminated by a series of flares of light as the equipment and personnel of the Tenzing's away team are beamed to the surface. Murphy, Johnny, and the rest of the team, you find yourselves on the small mountainside ledge outside of the cave entranceway, along with the pair of energy dampeners, which you hope to use as a deterrent against the attention of the dust worms, which you had previously interacted with in a less than friendly manner. Some distance away, in two different directions down the mountainside, you can see the decoy lures, aka portable power generators, which you've also deployed as part of this same plan. Just about see the lights of those generators twinkling through the swirls of dust that's sort of constantly being kicked up into the atmosphere. The engineers on your team, Bond and Quiek, carry between them a third of these portable power units, ready to hook up to whatever you find within the cavern.
Right, we know what our jobs are. Eye sharp, people.
Aye, sir.
And Johnny will go over and start tweaking one of the power dampeners.
Mm-hmm. Bond comes up and gives you a hand.
We're back here. Yep. Nothing like the heart of the action, right, Bond? Let's get this set off.
He goes to the other one and it's quite quickly activating it, and he knows what he's doing. He's an engineer.
And Johnny also knows what he's doing by saying that, so he's sniggering to himself, kind of thinking, we'll be all right. We've got these things this time. We know what we're doing.
Not walking into the lion's den this time.
Exactly.
But I mean, Bond is still I would say his anxiety level now that you're down on the planet is heightened again. He's not hiding it at all. But he quickly activates the second dampener and turns and sort of.
Okay, we're going inside. After you, I get the feeling that, I know what you like with the enclosed spaces. Off you go, Bond. I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm not going to argue.
I don't know. Is Bond leading the way, Murphy?
Murphy will will walk ahead with them.
Yeah.
But she'll probably, seeing that they have a good rapport, she might leave Johnny minding the engineers just to reassure Bond. And head outside with Baraka to keep an eye around.
Okay, so you're sending Bond, Quiek, and Johnny inside, and Baraka and the Civ. Sort of, you're staying outside the cave. Is that the?
Yeah, she'll probably go between the two, periodically, just to keep an eye on things. But I think Johnny being around with Bond is probably going to reassure him a bit more.
Yeah.
Friendly face.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but I think Baraka and Lasiv have kind of posted themselves sort of on opposite edges of the kind of little plateau. It's more of a kind of little ledge than anything, actually. Just so they can get a sort of good look of all angles here. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. Yeah, I feel like all your security personnel have proper phaser rifles with you this time, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we didn't really go over that. But yeah.
We're not demoted.
That's what I was picturing. I was like, okay, well, you guys, you know what you're expecting down here in terms of the creatures. So you're like, okay, well, this would be more, we're ready to go, sort of thing.
Yes. Suiting up like in First Contact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's same suits, exactly the same suits.
Yep.
Yeah. Baraka gives you a nod as as you're out there.
Commander.
Keep an eye on those lures that you've set. The minute they go off, I want to know.
Gives you a nod.
Of course.
As in offline, not in...
Yeah.
Not yeah.
Yeah, because they're online at the moment, and...
Yeah.
Yeah. They're essentially what you've done is you've turned on a generator and beamed it down, just to sort of...
Yeah.
work and see what happens there. It's not the most sturdy of things, although they are kind of portable ones, so they're kind of meant to be kind of carried about and stuff. So I think maybe they do have a little bit of a kind of workable frame on them or something or other. They're meant for moving. They're not but yeah, they are, at the end of the day, they're generators. They're not It's not a bunker or anything like that. It's
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, Baraka gives you a nod.
Of course.
Johnny, you head inside with the two engineers then, who between them are carrying another of these sort of portable power units. It's not a tiny piece of equipment. It's maybe 4 to 5 feet long, something like that. But they don't really look like they're struggling at all. They're not like asking for your help or anything. So the three of you head into the cave entrance. Torches lit, of course. I think you find it, like, as far as you can tell, undisturbed since your previous visit. At least it looks that way to you on first glance. There's no like new footprints or signs of the dust worms coming in here or anything.
Reassuring.
Yeah.
I think Johnny would be sort of looking at the walls and trying to sort of take in if there's any more markings or anything inscrutable.
Okay. You know what? I don't think I need a check for this because I can just say, as you're kind of making your way through, you don't really spot anything. I don't know if you remember last time. It was kind of the cave went in and was like it was just like a cave for a bit, and then as it kind of curved around, it became more and more like clear that this section, at the very least, had been kind of cut out of the rock. You're not seeing anything in terms of like markings on much of it. Now you know what you're looking for. You can definitely see the bit where it goes from this was a natural cave to and here's where we've started cutting, you know, which maybe was a little bit more subtle before, but now you know what you're looking for. It's like, oh, okay, it's a bit more obvious that like this was where they started mining it out. But yeah, you lead the way along that, and it's not too long before you reach the sort of dead end that you got to before, where you can see the sort of the inset sort of grooves and markings that you previously noticed. Bond and Quiek set the generator down on the ground.
This was it. This is the place. Yeah, looks like this is it. Time to get set up, right, guys? Yeah. Okay. Just keep an eye on. Watch our backs. I don't want one of those worms getting me. Don't worry, Bond. I'm gonna have one eye on my tricorder, one eye on you.
Lieutenant Quiek has pulled out a tricorder and is just sort of scanning the wall again.
I'm picking up that signal you mentioned from last time, Bond. Good catch.
It's sort of, I think, following the tricorder readings, kind of repositions the generator to be what you think seems to be fairly central on this kind of section of wall that does have the carvings on it. Bond just sort of also pulled out a tricorder and is like, I think generally what they're doing is kind of looking for a place to attach any kind of cable or anything like that. I don't know if you want to join in and help at all, but they seem to be taking some time here.
Is it a too many cooks situation from the outside looking in? Johnny doesn't want to stick his foot in where it's not welcome.
It's not the biggest of corridors, I will say, so three of you kind of shuffling around in front of this section of wall might get a little bit cramped.
On that basis, then, Johnny's going to awkwardly kind of go,
you look like you might need a hand over there, but a bit of a tight squeeze. What do you think?
Lieutenant looks up.
I think we'll be fine, Ensign. It's just going to take us a minute, that's all. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the tricorder then. Don't worry.
They take a few minutes and come to the conclusion there's nothing that you can plug a cable into here, but they are able to kind of set up like a sort of, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of what you did on the ship, really, with the sphere. Put it into like field generation mode, if that makes sense, rather than just straight up like plug-in generator mode. Lieutenant Quiek kind of taps his comm badge.
Quiek to Murphy.
Murphy here.
We're all set up down here, Commander. Ready to go on your mark.
All right, I'll head down.
It takes you a few minutes to head in, and you see that they've kind of detached from the top of the generator, like a couple of sort of. They look a little bit like miniature versions of the like pattern enhancer things. Little sort of probes that they've sort of stuck in the ground either side of the door.
Ready when you are, Commander.
All right. Let's keep our eyes open still.
Gives Bond the nod, who activates the generator. For a few seconds, nothing really happens. And then shimmers of light. One by one, the geometric carved indentations on the wall brighten, filling with a glow not dissimilar to that produced by the sphere once it was powered up. Much of the intricacy of the carvings had been obscured by dust, but as the glow increases, the lines are picked out in your vision, and what was like a section of wall where you'd seen some of the carvings, suddenly you can see it's almost like a sort of a circuit diagram. All the different kind of engravings and carvings just kind of fill in with this spreading blue glow, and as it all comes up to this sort of brightness, you begin to notice a pattern on them that maybe wasn't that obvious when it was all powered down when you're on your previous visit. A definite central point to the carvings on this section of wall is visible now. Like an area where a lot of the lines seem to converge. That, again, because some of them were so subtle that they, you couldn't see them under the dust and that. You hadn't been able to kind of pick out this focal point before. But now it's definitely more prominent and quite central. This sort of culminating sort of point in the middle where all of the lines are kind of converging into one singular sort of space.
Murphy's going to take out a tricorder and just give it a scan.
Sure. What are you looking for in particular?
I'm going to see if now that it's charged, the central point, is it the same as the ball that we have? Is it like a key?
Oh, shape-wise or anything like that,
yeah.
You mean? I don't think you need a scan for that. It's not really... There's not like an indentation where it'd be like, oh, here's where we put the ball. No. No, it doesn't look like that. It just looks like a kind of central point. There is kind of a circular sort of shape to it, but it's not like an indent where it would be like the ball fits here.
Okay.
It's more just like a sort of circular kind of central, I don't want to say glyph, but like a kind of central kind of point.
Murphy's gonna cautiously place her hand on that and see if that does anything.
Johnny is visibly tense. Has a hand on his gun.
There is a moment, just a pause where nothing happens, and then you hear a slight click. The central section that your hand is covering, beneath your glove, glows brightly for a second, and then depresses into the wall, just a couple of centimeters. Another beat, and then the wall splits. From floor to ceiling, bisecting down through the center of the circular glowing focal point, each half sliding away sideways, leaving your gloved hand raised in mid-air in the center of a 2-meter wide opening. A pitch-black chamber lies beyond.
I guess we're treasure hunters now.
Johnny's raised his gun towards the room that's opened up.
Bond has definitely taken a step back, kind of against the corridor wall, away from the opening.
Yep.
All right, let's light this up.
Have we got like glow stick kind of?
Yeah, you can have some flares and things, I guess. Yeah.
Murphy's gonna pull out one of those and then toss it in because she's not stepping over the threshold.
Okay, yeah, that's a good thought. Safety first.
Oh, go on. Safety first. Need some light.
Okay, throw it through the gap. It's quite clear immediately that this is a pretty large space you're throwing it into. Because it's not like you're throwing it in and it's lighting up corridor walls immediately either side. However, it comes to a rest at what looks to be the bottom of a set of steps. You can just about make out some sort of other sort of forms kind of in proximity to this bit here. And you can see that the ground is more like carved like paved flagstone, kind of like... It's definitely an artificial texture here. This is no longer like a cave floor. This is like... It's like paving stones, really. It's a series of squares.
Man-made structure.
Yeah. There is no movement, as far as you can see, though.
Any readings?
You are picking up the small intermittent signal that Bond had picked up on your previous visit, and it is definitely coming from within this chamber.
Bond, I've got your signal from last time. All right, who wants to come?
Bond is a little hesitant. I think Kwiak gives you nods.
Behind you, Commander.
I'm with you 100%.
All right. Bond, you stay here, mind the door.
Yeah. Don't want to close behind you.
Exactly. I'd rather not get entombed. But let's proceed with caution.
She's gonna tap her comm badge.
Baraka,
Commander.
we've managed to get the door open. Myself, Johnny, and Kwiak are going inside. We're leaving Bond at the door to keep an eye on the mechanism so we don't get locked in.
Understood.
Give us a heads up if there's any movement or any change.
Understood. I am picking up some movement around one of the generators.
Use your judgment to see the threat, all right?
Of course.
All right. Murphy out. All right, gentlemen. Steady as she goes.
She's gonna step on through with her torch, try and light up the path
Okay.
a bit better.
You step inside, and yeah, you get a sort of sense of the size of this chamber, and it's taller than the corridor that you've just come in from, and quite wide. The immediate sense you get as you come in is that it's kind of a sort of circular chamber, probably I want to say 3 stories tall, so it's pretty big in here. As far as like distance across, it's pretty big. Your torch isn't quite picking out the far wall. Oh no, I guess your torch would. The glow stick hadn't picked it out, but like the room itself is probably 100 feet across. It's a pretty big chamber. As you shine around, you can see that the walls are sort of lined with shelving of some sort. Not all the way around, not right by the entranceway, but sort of the back half has definitely got some kind of like sort of shelves. You can't really see what's on them from this distance. There's definitely some storage happening in here. You can see where your glow stick had come to rest at the foot of a set of steps in the exact center of the room. The steps are leading up to a circular platform in the direct center of the room with kind of a plinth on it. As you make your way in, that seems to be where the intermittent signal is coming from.
Probably take a sweep on the lower level first before going up the stairs.
Sure.
Check that there's no other entrances or exits to this room so we can just secure.
Okay. So you begin to sweep around the side of the room, and you do find a sealed door about a quarter of the way around the room. As I say, it's kind of a circular room, so if this was a clock starting at 12 o'clock, you get to 3 o'clock and there's a door there. It is sealed. Are you sort of trying to open it straight away, or is it
No, we're just like checking.
Yeah.
Just checking our surroundings. At least Murphy is anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny's got eyes fixed on Murphy right now. He's making sure that the boss is safe.
Yeah.
The boss appreciates it. Don't want to be eaten.
From that point on, like if it's a clock face, from that point, from 3 o'clock round to 9 o'clock, the walls are covered in these shelving units. Some of them sort of set into the wall itself. Are you taking a closer look at them, or are you... What are you thinking?
Murphy's so paranoid. She's just scanning everything right now. She's like, I'm not touching anything.
You're not picking up any energy signatures from them at all.
Okay. But it doesn't have to be have energy to kill you.
That's true, yeah. Not a lot of batteries in swords or things.
But then they do have their environmental suits, so
yes, you are protected from any gases or anything like that, and things like that. You're in a sealed environment, so here they're not really armored that much, but you are safe from any environmental hazards, mostly, other than like falling in lava and stuff, I guess. But
let's hope there's none of that in here.
yeah.
Nothing corrosive.
There are, as you look, what appears to be books.
Ooh. Oh, we're taking a few of those. Interesting.
Given the size of the chamber, this is essentially a library's worth of books in here.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow. This is going to take a lot longer than one trip, I think.
It's like a whole library down here. Who knows what kind of ancient knowledge might be in this place?
I think you're on the right track.
There's got to be some hints as to what happened to this civilization, maybe.
Let's take a couple of volumes back with us and see if the linguistic team can make further headway on deciphering it.
I mean, a quick visual scan, I will say, just looking at the books on there, I mean, a lot of them don't have writing on them, but some that do, like writing on the outside, I will say, from where you're looking at, ones that do, it does seem to be the same kind of text. Same kind of, like, alphabet sort of thing.
Yeah, so the more words that they have, the better chances they have of not maybe deciphering it, but at least having a working codex to work from.
I have a suggestion, sir. I think that maybe we could scan these and send it up to the ship, and they could get some headway on translating while we're working down here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'll start scanning some of these books.
Murphy's going to continue going around.
Okay. Johnny, as you... I guess this is quite... I mean, that's quite a task to scan a whole book, because you're...
Well, he'll get one in particular and just leave page by page and, I suppose, point the tricorder at it.
Sure, yeah. I'm just saying that's going to take you a little while, that's all.
Yeah, it's not an exciting task, but...
No. Okay. Murphy, you continue around the edge of the room. As you get to the 9 o'clock point on the if it was a clock, you see there's another door there, which is just ajar.
Oh. Don't like it. Don't like it.
It's dark within. It's still dark in here. I mean, safe to say it's dark in here, but you guys have been making your way around. We could almost say that you're throwing out glow sticks while you're in here to raise the ambient level, but it's dark within this second chamber.
I have an ajar door here.
Oh?
And Johnny puts down what he's scanning and heads over.
Murphy's going to step a little bit closer, but not much. See if she can point her torch through the gap.
Okay. Step up, being careful not to disturb the door at all. And it immediately seems like this is a smaller chamber beyond. From the angle you're at, your torch picks out a sort of waist-high platform a short way in. Just the edge of it that you can't really see because of the angle of the door. But it appears to be against the wall.
Can I get a tricorder reading of like the layout of the room? If it's to confirm that it's a small, just to confirm that it's a smaller room.
I'm picturing you holding the tricorder and just sticking it through the gap into the room and just kind of waving your hand around.
Oh, quite like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Can I get a reason science check from you? Difficulty 2, I guess. Sure.
2d20.
Yeah, please. 18 and a 2. Okay. Well, I think for you that's 1 success, 1 failure.
You get a scan, but your arm gets taken off.
Yeah, you were aiming for
just the hand. The hand.
Aiming for 11 or under. I mean, we often do this, don't we? The sort of partial success thing. I think you're able to get like a confirmation this is a smaller chamber, but like it's a very vague kind of like topographical scan and no confirmation of exactly what is within, other than it does pick up what it says is anomalous biological elements detected, and it doesn't give you any detail.
I like it. If Johnny's coming over, she's going to show him the results.
Hearing it, that tricorder.
Biological remains, maybe? Could be.
Possibly. Yeah.
As you both just stood next to a slightly open door, like, it's like just being like, I don't want to open it. Like,
Johnny's
There's a lot of mystery here. There's a lot of mystery.
gonna peer up over to Murphy with a look on his face, like slightly concerned.
Did you want me to look in there?
No. I think we check out where this signal was coming from first and come back to this.
Okay.
There's a little bit of relief.
One mystery at a time.
like we
One
don't know what's
mystery at a time.
Let's just back slowly away and just. Sure. Okay, as I said, the signal seemed to be coming from the plinth on the raised section in the center of the room.
Yeah, Murphy's going to go check that out then.
Okay.
And slightly shake herself from heebie-jeebies.
And yeah, I mean, it is spooky in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll follow behind with that wary kind of looking around thing going as he's stepping.
Yeah, I think you left Quiek scanning one of the books, I think. Maybe. Getting to the steps then, you can see that they are engraved with more of this text sort of running around the perimeter circularly. The whole raised area in the middle is circular and the steps are circular going up to it, sort of around the whole thing. It's and as I say, there's an engravement sort of on the edge of each of the steps as you go up. But yeah, there's this sort of plinth in the middle. It doesn't look to be stone, looks to be metal of some sort. It's again quite intricately kind of carved in the same kind of geometric patterns as everything else. And it definitely looks like it's not placed on the top of the steps. It's like it goes down into the steps themselves, into the platform itself. As you get closer with your tricorder, it's just all it is just a sort of intermittent every kind of 20 seconds kind of pulse of. The tricorder doesn't really categorize it, but it's just a kind of like it's a low level kind of energy sort of pulse. There's nothing visual that you can see, that's like, it's not like there's a light coming on or something like that. But it just seems to be coming from the top of this plinth. The plinth itself, as I say, it's four-sided. Seems to be metal, and it's coming out of the floor. It's not on top of the floor. The top seems to be higher on the corners than the middle. So like it goes up to the top, and then the corners sort of a little bit more further raised with a sort of a little bit of a divot in the middle.
Okay.
What do you think, Conought? A power source of some sort?
I'm really not sure. I'm not really that hot on engineering, especially something as strange as this. I wouldn't hazard to guess.
Yeah, I think we're just going to be taking scans of it and to try and figure it out, because Murphy doesn't really want to touch it.
Yeah, it's a bit too risky.
I mean, sure, if you want to run a scan of it, we can do that. I can get another reason science check from you.
Why not?
Difficulty 2.
Why not? Why not? See how my luck is. That's 7 and a 6.
7 and 6. Well, that's 2 successes. That's pretty good.
Way.
Yeah. Okay. I think the scan reveals, now that you've sort of had scans of like how the doorway powered up and that and everything, you've got a bit of a better idea of like at least the sort of general kind of way this power seems to flow. And you're able to kind of put 2 and 2 together and realize that there's a lot of kind of what could potentially be like circuit pathways leading right up to the center. And then you can kind of trace them down, and they go down through the plinth and then kind of radiating outwards in all directions around the chamber. Definitely seems like a kind of, I keep saying focal point, but it definitely seems like this is the crux of the whole setup here.
Oh. Maybe this is where the ball goes.
Certainly looks like it fit.
Go get the orb from Bonge, will you?
Aye, sir.
As you approach, Bonge is like, he's kind of, I don't want to say nervously pacing, but he's kind of stood there and he's sort of a little bit sort of like, sort of looking in through the door, like nervously. And he sees you approach.
What did you find? Well, something that looks like it might fit the ball. Sorry, the orb. Are we calling it an orb now? Okay.
Well, I think that might be the official term at this point. I'm not quite sure. I'm running with it.
Sure.
So, yeah, let's have it.
Oh, right, yeah, oh, sorry. I was waiting for you to tell me what else you found. No, okay.
He turns back to the generators. The ball had been brought in like an equipment case. You wouldn't just like carrying it around. And opens the case. Well, no, I think he gives you the equipment case rather than like getting out and just handing it to you.
Okay, keep your eyes and ears open, Bonge, because we're about to try something in there. And, in fairness, you might want to come through with us and have a look at this. Your engineering expertise could be of use.
I think I'm fine here. Order the door closes. Commander wanted me to just hold the fort.
Well, I don't know. There's been new things that have come to light, Bonge, and I think, let's find out, shall we? Murphy?
Conought?
I was thinking that Bonge would be of assistance to us while we're dealing with the, whatever this thing is. What do you think?
I think Ensign Bonge has a task to do.
You can see Johnny's a little crestfallen on his face.
Just kind of looking at him going, not if we get locked in here with both engineers.
Aye, sir. I understand. Well, I guess let's see what happens with this orb.
Johnny hefts up the container and starts to walk through with it.
Bonge gives you a thumbs up.
Good luck.
Johnny gives a look and a little bit of a look in his eyes of like, I really hope you're right. We're all right. Maybe we don't require luck. We'll see.
You bring the equipment case then back up to the sort of raised central area, and setting it down, you flip it open, you see the orb is in there. It's still glowing from when it was powered up the previous day. Doesn't seem to have dimmed at all.
All right. Moment of truth.
Murphy's going to pick it up quite gingerly and just gently put it onto the plinth.
Okay. The ball it sits snugly on the plinth. A second or two passes, and then you see some of the blue light from the ball begin to spread down into the circuit pathways of the plinth. It's not like it's draining out of it. The ball is still staying lit, but the glow is spreading down onto the plinth itself as the engraved circuit pathways on there begin to light up and then spread further down across the floor. The ambient light level in the room is obviously going up throughout all of this as there's these sort of lines in the whole kind of structure begin to glow. And you notice a pinpoint of light appear in midair above you, followed by another, and another, and another. Hundreds of lights begin to appear just floating in midair above the central platform, forming an odd kind of cloud of lights. All slightly different in sort of distances between them, slight difference in... I mean, they're mostly kind of the blue, sort of same blue kind of glow, but like a bright white glow. They're definitely giving off a lot of light. The whole chamber is now lit up like this is a sort of central kind of chandelier type thing almost. The whole constellation begins to rotate in midair as the last few of them pop into existence.
Murphy's got her tricorder out and is trying to like record all of this. Like, you don't know how long the power is gonna last. It's like, right. Very pretty.
As you watch the bright display of hundreds and hundreds of lights above you, certain lights begin to glow a little bit brighter than others and are suddenly ringed by a glyph. You can't read it, it's the same kind of text as the others, but there is a definite, these are being pointed out in certain ways. There's text accompanying each one, and some of them begin to glow different colours.
Is it just me, or is this starting to look like some kind of user interface?
Or it's a map? Maybe these were the colonies?
I think we should take as detailed a scan as we can possibly do right now, and Johnny's with you with the tricorder out, kind of like slowly moving it around the room, trying to get everything as it's changing.
Yeah. I think at this point, the ones that are being sort of highlighted, that has stopped, and you count approximately 70 highlighted lights. You can't read the text on them at all. About 20 of these are marked with a sort of interlocking sphere of like kind of rotating kind of circles around them, if that makes sense. Most of those, the circles are glowing a deep red.
So either lost or failed, maybe?
That is up to you to speculate.
Some sort of that.
There is one large central one that definitely takes your attention. It's kind of right in the center of this cloud, and it has, okay, it's the largest of these sort of ones that are ringed with arcing sort of circular formations, and that is also a very deep red.
Home planet, maybe?
The constellation is rotating above you just for a second. You know, just as you're kind of doing this. I think, Murphy, can I get an insight security check from you real quick?
15.
That's good. No, you're aiming for 15 or under. So
Okay.
as you're kind of taking these scans and it's rotating above you, you do see towards the outer edge of the group of floating lights 2 ringed ones that are very close to each other. One of them is this type with the circles around it, glowing a red, but it also seems to have a little bit of a blue tinge to it as well. Very close to that you can see is another of these highlighted lights, but it's immediately obvious to you that the text around it is different. It's in a different alphabet, a different script, I should say. And it seems very familiar to you. You would swear you'd seen this alphabet before, only on this particular one.
Okay.
Why does that look familiar?
Is it something that she's maybe seen in her past, or is it something that she's maybe seen with through Starfleet, kind of?
You can't quite place it, but you think maybe it's a more recent thing that you've seen.
Okay.
It's not, you wouldn't say that, it doesn't immediately jump out as like, oh, this is like a Bajoran thing, or like this is, you know, this seems as a more recent thing that you've seen. Again, you can't quite place it. It's just like something about some of the letters just seem to, like they give you like a I've seen this before and I don't know where kind of thought.
She's gonna take focus on that.
Okay.
Can they reach and touch the?
It's a little bit above your head, but I think it's not that one particular is not that far above your head. Yeah, you can probably reach out and touch it.
Yeah, she's gonna reach for it. See if it pops up anything else.
As you reach, you get close, and it passes straight through your hand.
So they had holographic technology. Interesting.
might account for the barren rooms that we saw before. Perhaps there was something within them that manifested this holographic technology and, well, might be a bit of a... No, probably not the case, but a little bit of a logical leap here. But perhaps it was a holographic society?
And
Not
Johnny's
sure.
looking at you with the look of like, this is a wild idea. What do you think, Box?
Let's not jump to conclusions quite just yet. Let's go check out those other rooms. See if we can access them now. That we have some sort of power.
Okay, are you going to the one that was slightly ajar, or are you...
Yes.
Yeah.
Deal with the security threat first.
Yeah, you can see it's not like the lights haven't turned on in there or anything. You know, the glow in the chamber you're at is very much seems to be related to like you have activated the hologram display. But yeah, the door is still ajar. You can push it open if you'd like.
Yeah, let's try and push it open then.
Okay.
Shove.
It's surprisingly heavy, but it does move. As you sweep your torch around, you just cover the platform that you saw against one wall, and on it you see a figure.
Like a figurine or like a
Like a person.
dead body? Dead body.
Oh. Well, there goes your holographic civilization theory.
Yeah, well, it was a bit kind of out there, but,
Yeah.
well, let's have a look, I guess.
Okay, it appears to be humanoid. It's roughly 7 feet tall. No signs that you can tell of, like, it doesn't have any, like, obvious wounds or anything like that. And the skin appears quite sort of dried out, quite desiccated. It's possible this has sort of been here quite a while, but this has been a sealed chamber for that time, so, you know, this is, who knows how long this has been here. I don't want to say it's like a dried out mummy, but it's a little bit like a dried out mummy. But yeah, yeah.
I don't really want to take a corpse back onto the ship. Don't want to take a pathogen onto the ship.
I think if we can get it in some kind of containment, the science department's gonna thank us for it later. I can't help but imagine that they're gonna have a field day with this.
Yeah, and the transporters will filter out most, if not all, nasty things.
Looking around the chamber, you can see there are stacks of books in here as well, but sort of loosely on the ground. There's what could be blankets, clothes. No sort of remains of a meal or anything, but this looks to be just a sort of living space. It's not quite as empty and sort of sterile as the rest of the place. This was definitely a lived-in space.
Yeah, it's like an archivist. They're like the archivist kind of thing, maybe. I'm trying to think who to call. I don't really want to give Fel more.
You can get it down here if you want.
No, I don't want to do that.
Biosciences.
Probably the doctor as well, though.
You're thinking like an autopsy type thing?
Yeah, well, we would like to know what killed him. Because at the moment, there's no evidence of, like...
No evidence of foul play. This isn't a murder
There's no
scene.
evidence. There's no evidence of a murder.
I mean, sure, yeah, no, you can get people down here if you want.
Yeah, I think we'll get both of them then.
Okay.
And they can confer and decide. Murphy's like, if it's dead, it's dead. It's not gonna pick up a phaser and hurt me, so it's not really a threat right now. But it's a science mission, so.
Okay. So yeah, during this time, it took a short amount of time for you to kind of coordinate with who you need come down here, and I think during this time, Johnny, maybe you and Quiet continue your scanning of some books. Bond is appraised of the situation, and maybe somebody else comes down as well to relieve him from door duty. I don't know.
Yeah. I think if we've established that the power is enough to, like...
Yeah, there's been no movement at all or anything.
Yeah, there's been no movements. I think we can probably... Safe to say that it's not going to shut on us.
Yeah.
It's not like an automatic.
It's not showing any signs of shutting right now.
Yeah. But I think if the power goes out anyway, I don't think it'll close. It would probably just
stay open. Possibly.
Like,
yeah.
because that other one was like partly open.
Yeah, there's a
hope so.
conclusion that could be taken.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Well, they know how to open it if they...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you've got people outside. You can just be like, come, open the door. Please bring us another power supply. Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, okay. So we'll fast forward at this point. I say a little bit of time has passed as Fel and I'm assuming it was Dr. Ireela, you're getting down, suited up and came to the transporter chamber and made their way inside the mountain.
Okay.
Ireela, as you walk into this chamber, the first thing you notice is this huge constellation of floating holographic lights in the center of the room. And I think Fel stands there for a second as well. He goes,
Whoa. That's cool.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Interesting.
So where's this, you found a body?
Yep, just down here. Follow me.
Side chamber, you are presented with an inexplicable corpse. Currently inexplicable.
I thought since we already had one thing on board, we didn't really need to have another thing on board if we could help it.
That seems sensible. So Ireela's going to go over and have a closer look at the body.
I guess, can I get a... I think this would just be a reason medicine check from you. Difficulty 2, I think, because it's a new life form, there's... Yeah, looking 15 or under on this.
Okay.
702, perfect. I'm just seeing if this would fall under one of your focuses. It might fall under anthropology, actually. In which case that would be a crit on the 2.
Yeah.
I think that argument could be made. You sort of, this is a new life form, you're looking at, I don't think it would fall under hazard awareness, trauma surgery, pain management, triage, or medical rehab, but yes. Either way, that's a crit, so yeah. Enjoy the point of momentum. So, as I said, it's about... it's a little bit over 7 foot, about, maybe 7'1", 7'2".
Okay.
Quite, I don't want to say emaciated, but, the thin sort of limbs, it's fairly desiccated. Just in terms of, sort of how long it's been here, it's a little tough to determine, but I think with your kind of practiced eye, you would say that it's been here for decades, if not longer.
Okay.
Rather than more recent than that, just based on sort of levels of decay. And I guess we could sort of say maybe you've read some studies or something, but it's, taking into account sealed chamber and the thinness of the atmosphere and everything, it's you could maybe you don't have an exact number you can give, but a decade at a minimum it's been here. Clothed in, it's not like it's sort of wrapped in rags and that's all falling apart or anything. It's got a sort of, I guess, like a kind of tunic sort of garb that they're wearing. Material wise, I mean, a brief scan shows it's some sort of synthetic blend that has not decayed at all or anything. I think medically speaking, you can rule out sort of any kind of blunt force trauma or anything like that. A brief scan shows that, yeah, like a lot of life forms, it has bones, it has internal organs, it's, it's humanoid in shape, so it's got there's a lot of very similar biology. But yeah, you're not picking up any broken bones. Obviously the age makes it difficult to determine anything with too much with the internal organs, as it has kind of been some time that it's been down here. But I think it's safe. You can rule out physical damage being the cause of death. But I mean, potential for old age, obviously potential for sickness as well. But that's, I mean, without knowing what the species is like when they're alive and not knowing what pathogens there might have been on this planet or elsewhere, otherwise that's tough to kind of deal with. The fact that you're all kind of getting to the planet after it's missing most of its atmosphere and a lot of its biosphere is not helping investigations in that kind of front. But there's definitely some things you can rule out, and it's very possible this individual died of old age. There's no signs of a struggle or anything. It's definitely lying on what could be called a bed.
Okay. Can I find any signs of, I suppose, like any other signs of life? Like any, like their scans bringing up any like parasites or anything?
I think I need a new. This would be, I think, a reason science check for this one, because you're sort of just expanding the scan a little bit to sort of search for other life. Again, just I think difficulty 2, I think, for this one. Although maybe there's some difficulty 1 because you've got a scan of this individual, so you're kind of looking for other.
Yeah. So, the difference between.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just difficulty 1, which is lucky because that's a success and a crit fail there.
Yeah.
So you got your 1 success, so you're fine. I will bank that as threat. I think we're in a fairly chill environment here. We're not in the middle of combat, is what I'm saying. So it's like I'm going to bank that as threat rather than I think with that 1 success, I would say you're not picking up anything. Like it's not got like an alien chest burster in it or anything like that. It just seems to be. It's just it's a body and it is in place, and there's not really a lot around it in terms of other life forms or anything. And whether that's down to age and like how long it's been here, and like the environment in general, because like this, when this, I didn't really say it earlier, but when you opened the chamber, it was like, while it was a sealed chamber, it wasn't like there was a sudden like, there was a bunch of air in here and it rushed out. Now that you've opened it, it was the same kind of atmosphere in here as it was outside, kind of thing, which is like thinner than breathable. So I just mean like, whether there was at some point a parasite or anything, like you're not picking up one now. That's all I can give you, I think.
Okay, that's good. Just the mention of not wanting to take anything back to the ship.
Oh yeah. So that's a good thought, yeah. The first planet of the cluster, we don't want to immediately bring back something that causes trouble.
Well, we don't know where those worms have came from, so...
That's true.
Well, it doesn't look as though this person's death is connected to the worms, particularly.
Oh, that's really...
Unless they were trapped and starved to death in here.
I would say as well, because this seems to be a living space in here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bed, there's all sorts of stuff. It doesn't seem like this was, at the very least, it wasn't like they were expecting to go back to their home down in the village down there. That, you could infer that because they were sleeping up here, this is where they lived.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think at this point there's like a slight sort of call from the other room.
Hey, Murphy.
Yep.
Fel is stood on the platform. I think she wandered in when into the same first room with the body in when you first got here, and maybe sort of did some brief checking out while you were doing the initial medical scans, but as sort of, I don't want to say wandered off, but as like, maybe
she wandered off. Yeah. She wandered off.
Yeah, but maybe left you to it a little bit as you were getting into the deeper medical stuff, because this isn't instant. This was you're taking your time to kind of come to these conclusions. So she wandered off, basically. She stood out on the plinth looking up at the lights again.
What's up?
Have you seen this?
She's pointing up at the star that had the text around it that you sort of recognised but weren't quite sure where it was from.
Yeah, it's familiar. I just can't seem to place it, though.
She kind of stands on tiptoes to try and reach it. She's a couple of inches shorter than you. She can't quite make it. So she settles for pointing at it.
This text here? This is an archaic trill.
What?
Oh.
Alright, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on Thursday, March 27th for the next chapter of Frontier, and we hope you'll all join us for that. In the meantime, you can head to pretendingwithdice.com for links to all of our online presences, including our Discord server, Ko-Fi page, and much, much more. So yeah, for now, that's our show. We hope you all enjoyed it. See you next time.